There's a lot of you. Hi. As a writer, I have interviewed interesting people from all around the world. And an interview usually goes like this. First, the person projects the image of you that they want you to see, or of themselves that they want you to see. And then as they loosen up a little bit, they start to speak from the heart. And so as I'm asking my questions, I'm also listening for the things that are important to that person. It's usually an experience that has changed them or an issue that affects them personally. And then I say these three magic words. Tell me more. In my work, I look for stories that are not often told that humanize important divisive issues. So often, as we throw around data points, we forget that there are real people and families affected, and that they have insight that we lack. This is a story about a Spokane father and son, Michael and Danny. It is a story about the challenges of fatherhood and adoption, and it's also a story about a gay man who faced discrimination even as he fought to save his son's life. I care about this work because when we fear people who are different from us, we are really easy to manipulate. We are susceptible to being persuaded that people who are others, for whatever reason, different from us, are bad and dangerous and perhaps even not quite human. We have done all of this. This is us, and it is happening right now. Hate crimes have increased steadily for the past 3 years, and they have jumped 20% already this year. Holocaust historian Timothy Snyder writes that we can learn from the past to confront the issues of today. The moment you set an example, he says, the spell of the status quo is broken and others will follow. This is the example that I would like to set. We can build a more resilient democracy through fearless conversation. Big, messy conversation that faces the issues of our time head on and leaves us with a better understanding of one another and of our world. Fearless conversation takes 3 things: curiosity, courage, and vulnerability. Step 1, curiosity. We are born curious, but as we grow older, our beliefs become a part of our identity. And so while we remain curious about many things, we instinctively throw up a defense when it feels like our identity is threatened. But it's important for us. I've had so many conversations that I wish I could go back to and redo in slow motion, looking for that time to say, tell me more. We need to be hearing from people who have firsthand experience with the issues that we are talking about. If we have the distance from an issue to be able to view it from a purely intellectual standpoint, we don't have all the information. And if we turn that curiosity onto ourselves, we find that we can hold our views a little more loosely and consider new information and new ideas, and we will be okay. The truth, if it's really true, will not go anywhere. Step 2, courage. Fearless conversation takes guts. Being willing to share our ideas and our passion, and especially our stories, with other people has immense power to grow empathy and bridge ideological divides. Think about a time when you changed your mind about something big, like a religious or a political view. Chances are that you knew the person who changed your mind and that you trusted them and respected them. Now think about people who view you in that way. Each of us has a network of friends and acquaintances who are interested in what we have to say. And as people with such powerful voices, we have an obligation to speak out about issues that matter and stand up for people who are suffering. Even more so if we hold a position of power in the workplace or in our church, or elsewhere in our lives. Step 3, vulnerability. Taking on difficult issues and opening up about our story is terrifying, especially if it means risking conflict with people that we care about. And I'm not here to tell you that it's going to be okay. We are extremely politically divided as a nation and as a world, and it has taken a toll on our relationships. This survey, taken in June of this year, shows how our ideological gulf has grown over the past few decades. And the same survey found that the vast majority of us do not have friends across the political aisle, or if we do, it's only a few. When we are willing to take on fearless conversation, we become better connected and therefore better informed about the issues that we're discussing and more resilient to false information. So, why waste our time arguing with anonymous internet trolls or people who do not treat us well? We are no good to anybody if we are exhausted and traumatized from engaging with people who do not treat us well. But fearless conversation inherently does involve taking risks. And this is me playing Ultimate Frisbee. I look like a super dork when I'm playing Ultimate Frisbee, but I do know what I'm doing out there. And the other day, the guy who was covering me stopped me, and he said, "You can't do that. That's against the rules." And I immediately felt like a little kid. I was super embarrassed. My face turned red because I just was so embarrassed that I didn't know a rule in a game that I should know well, right? And that's exactly how I feel when I'm caught in my ignorance in a conversation or get something wrong. I feel embarrassed, my face turns red, and I often become defensive. And I think that kind of compulsion to save face is what's behind a lot of our political shouting matches that we see. But actually, the better we get at learning about the issues that we're debating about, the more we ask questions, the more we learn, the better we get at not being jerks. And we actually behave better as a result of knowing more about the issues. This takes practice, and I'm still not good at it. I have had initiated conversations I felt were really important that just bombed. And I've had other conversations that have gone really, really well. I've had people challenge my views or share their life story with me and completely shifted my perspective on an issue. Other times I have had, I've just said something inadvertently offensive or just ignorant sounding and been patiently corrected by a friend. But you know what? It's not about me. My ego will recover when things go awry. And because I think these conversations are so important to building a better world, I will continue to pursue them. And I hope that you will join me. Thank you.